None of the other candidates has anywhere like those kinds of programs. Somebody said the other day, said, Galbraith, said, you're a mighty smart man, figure all that stuff out. And I said, well, look, I've been looking at this for 36 years. I started out trying to figure out what the problems were and what the solutions were in 1971. So I've been looking at it for a long time. I would be completely ignorant if I hadn't figured out some sort of solutions after 36 years of studying it. You know, but the fact is that these are the solutions, and these solutions will work, and none of the other candidates are doing anything about it, or even on this level of discussion about what the issues are. My other two main issues are this. Number one, I think we ought to give economic incentives to existing in-state corporations to establish state-of-the-art environmental compliance. That way we can get some of these mountaintop removal folks up there to be protecting these streams, because we're going to give them economic incentive to do it. At the same time, we give DuPont down here in Louisville some economic incentives to clean up all their carcinogenic material located around their industrial sites. So we're committed to the environment. But let's talk, we can do all that without any new taxes or any new revenue stream. But let's talk about casino gambling for just a second. All of my opponents are saying we ought to bring in casino gambling. You know, that's fine with me. The people ought to vote on it. I've only been in those places twice. Once was when I was 21, the other was when I went up to see my friend Willie play at Belterra. But I've never put a penny into a slot machine, and will not. I don't play the lottery or anything else. But I'm no prude. If people want to do that, it's their money, let them do it. But if we bring it in, they have to be located at the racetracks. Because there's only one function of a thoroughbred horse, and that's to run fast around the track. And we need to preserve the track so we can preserve the thoroughbred breeding industry and have it located here instead of the track. But instead of just taking $400 or $500 million in taxes off of it, and letting the profits go to the Las Vegas or Atlantic City crowd, I propose that the state of Kentucky own the casinos, just like the Indians own their own casinos. The Indians own their own casinos. They just bought out Hard Rock Cafe, so they're doing pretty good. That way, instead of letting the one that just taking $400 or $500 million off and letting the $1.5 billion go to the Atlantic City crowd and Las Vegas crowd, we'll take the $2 million and put it into our general fund so we can finally begin funding the institutional shortfalls we have, like teacher retirement and health care and state employee health care, and the kind of obligations that we have. Look, Kentucky's at a crossroads. We're not going to get another chance to reach out there and grab in big money like we have this time right here. Let's not let the opportunity pass us by. Let's not let the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Let us reach out and for the first time start considering what's best for the state of Kentucky instead of what's best for the special interest. Which brings me to why we ought to get elected in this race. Now folks, let me tell you, when we started out, people said, no, you got Galbraith running again. Now they're saying, my God, look what Galbraith environment are doing up there. In the last polls that have come out, Mark Ryman and I, my running mate, who I'll introduce here in just a minute, we have spent $18,000. We are 5 points ahead of Jonathan Miller, who spent $700,000. We're 3 points ahead of Jody Richards, who spent $700,000. We're coming up on Steve Henry, who spent about $700,000, and we're coming up on Steve Beshear and Brian Lunsford, who spent several $1 million. That is because people just like you are sick and tired of the corruption and crap that's gone up there in Frankfurt all these years. That's what keeps us poor. That's what makes us a laughing stock of the rest of the country. And as you know, in 1995, I left the Democratic Party because it got so corrupt. Paul Patton took the Democratic Party down to the very bottom of where you can take a political party. It got so bad that they elected Republicans to replace it. You don't get any worse than that if you're a Democrat, is being replaced by the Republicans. But now the Republicans have gotten up there and acted just as badly and with such disregard for the people that now the Democrats have an opportunity to step back in and take back the state of Kentucky. But I tell you one thing, if the people resurrect the Democratic Party in its old image, Ernie Fletcher is liable to beat it again. It was so bad last time that if they start reminding people of how bad the Democratic Party was, Ernie Fletcher is liable to be your governor again. So we cannot resurrect the Democratic Party in its old image. We cannot elect any of our opponents because they are the face of failure. They are the face of failed leadership. They are the face of the corrupt Democratic Party that the Republicans trounce. So we must resurrect the Democratic Party in a new image, the image of reform, to where it's once again the voice of the people and mom and pop and the miners and the farmers and the unions and the people in small towns and small town merchants. We have once again got to start representing the people with the Democratic Party instead of the big corporate special interest, and this is our opportunity to do it. We need 80,000 votes to win this primary, folks. In 2003, when I ran for Agriculture Commissioner as an independent, I only went to 12 counties. I only spent $20,000. We got 110,000 votes. And we need 80,000 votes to win this, but of course the 110,000 was independent Republicans and Democrats, but it only went to 12 counties. This time we've gone and been in and have a presence in all 120 counties. And this time the people are starting to listen. We've got county judge executives in Western Kentucky who are openly campaigning for us. We've got a newspaper in Western Kentucky goes to 9 counties openly endorsing us.
The mayor,
the mayor right over here endorses us. There you go. A string of big-time elected officials are stepping out of the closet saying, now is the time, this is the place to go. But with 80,000 votes, folks, every individual vote is extremely important. And if you can go out and get one other person to go to the polls with you, and you go to the polls, it makes an immense amount of difference. There's thousands of folks just like you who will understand that this is the chance, this is the opportunity. And I will tell you the truth. You will never, ever, ever in your lifetime have another chance to cast a vote for individual freedom like you got a chance to cast a vote in this election. That's what we stand for. I make an absolute vow. I'm going to take the government out of your bedroom and your bloodstream and your brain and your bladder and your billfold and your back pocket and put it back in a little box where it belongs. There ain't going to be nobody put in jail for marijuana when I become governor, by God. There ain't going to be that. There ain't going to be no kicking down doors and hauling people off for their association with the green natural plant. By God, when I become governor, I'm going to spend every day trying to get marijuana into the hands of the sick and dying Kentuckians to bring them relief in this state. Bring them relief in this state. And if they can't afford it, by God, we're going to let them grow it. And everybody in the privacy of their own home ought to be left alone unless they're injuring somebody else. I wrote a book, The Last Free Man in America. I've got a chapter that says I declare marijuana legal in the state of Kentucky, and I've said that in front of 3 Supreme Court judges, Court of Appeal judges, prosecutors, Commonwealth attorneys, district court judges, county attorneys. I've got a right to privacy in my home. By God, we're going to protect people's right to privacy in their home. We're going to stop the cops from busting down the doors and treating people like we're in occupied territory. It just is not going to happen. We're going to restore respect to the individual. We're going to tell the cops to do their job, but quit overriding people's rights. Quit trying to coerce people. Don't use unnecessary force. Don't arrest unless you have to. Don't be doing these felony takedowns on grandmothers like you seem to, like you want to do. You're going to start treating people with respect and dignity, because that's what the United States is about. That's what the state of Kentucky is about. You know, I've been an outsider, but I've also been around long enough to know what the inside looks like. If you elect one of our opponents, it's like putting a pretty face at the front of a failing restaurant. It does not solve the problems in the kitchen. You know, we've got overflowing grease traps back there, and somebody's got to get out there and back that restaurant and clean out the overflowing grease traps before we can start serving a politically palatable product to the people again. You know, my opponents don't know what the hell a grease trap looks like. They are the grease traps, and we're going to clean them out down there in a second. Now, I've got a lieutenant governor candidate around here somewhere, and I want to introduce you all to him. You know, when this race first started out,